We're good?
Recording.
Okay, Rabbi says, so we're about 15 lines from the bottom of Vuvim Med Aleph. The last word is Omar, the first word is Rebaviru, Omar Rebaviru. It's Mamash Agad Tegemuris. What's the connection? Because we were talking about Yisachar and Zavilin and their lands and Eretz Yisrael. So B'kitzur, here we have where we're going to take some psikim about different cities, and it's interesting stuff. So it's Omer Aviv. The Oidim sees it. It's 15 lines up. The first word on the line is Aviv. So it says like this, Omer Aviv. He says like this, V'ikron Teyoker. So we're going to be dissecting, this is a pusik in Tzfania, from the Nuvi Tzfania. V'ikron Teyoker. So Ikron is the name of a place, of a city, from Edom, we're soon going to see. Teyoker means it will be uprooted. Oikrim and Asherish, it will be uprooted. So what does that refer to? Zi Kaisri Bas Edom Shehir Shevis by Nachoides. This Ikron refers to the city of Caesarea. There's a city today, Caesarea, with an interesting history with the Christians. I'm not sure how related. I didn't have time to look into it. But it's the city of Caesarea, Kaisri Bas Edom. What is the daughter of Edom? It means it was a big city in Edom. Shehir Shevis by Nachoides. It sits between the sands, like in the beaches. So the emphasis, if you look around over here in the footnotes, it was owned by the Pelishtim, so the Chayre, it's somewhere by the Gaza beaches, according to what we're saying over here. So somewhere in that area towards the water, the Mediterranean. Fine. This was a, Yusid means like a peg that you're not going to tent, but it was a constant source of pain, just like Gaza today, Be'etzim. In the days of the Yevunim, so first Edom owned it, the Pelishtim, they say over here, then the Yevunim. Because when the Chashmanuim took over the story of Chanukah, and they beat against the Yevunim, they called the city the captured tower of Shir. Why? Because it was a big victory. You have a city, fighters are constantly coming out to make problems, and then the Chashmanuim got it back. So now it was, no longer a problem for Klal Yisrael, and they took control of it. So Mamayla, it's called Achidas Migdal Shir, the captured tower of Shir. Fine. So that's an Agadat the Gebura about a place called Ikron. So we're going to have another Agadat the Gebura also about the same place, Ikron. I will remove his blood from his mouth. The shikts of Mibain Shinov, and his detestable things from between his teeth, the ekelvige things from among. Again, this is how Agadat the Gebura is. It takes a pusig and nuvi that some of us Hasidim are not that knowledgeable in, and it gives you a pshutim and what it means. V'nishir gam hilai lekainin, he too shall remain for our lekaini for in the gut. So what does that mean? You'll take blood from his mouth, and it sounds like a negative, and it would become lekaini. What's meint this? So the Gemara is taking the pusik and explaining. This is the house of Bamya. So it was a place of Avodah Zura. Bamya was Avodah Zura that the Edom, one of the Edom of the Chaisav, we're soon going to see. So Edom would use this as an Avodah Zura headquarters. What does it mean? Shikit. Shakitz to Shaktzeni. We used to say it as it's reciting Chazal when you pass by a church. Shakitz means ma'ekelt, detestable. What does that mean between his teeth? This is the house of Gali, which is another Avodah Zura that was famous in those days. This also will stay for Lailakaini for Inz Yidin. What does that mean? This refers that all of these places are going to be turned into Butik Nesiyas and Buta Medrusha. So by the way, in the minds of Chazal and also in Shulchan Aruch, today it's already one big mix, a shtibel. But in the times of Chazal, you had a Besmedrush and a Beisaknesis. Besmedrush was for learning, and Beisaknesis was for davening, for tefillah. Fine. Now the Pusik continues over there. Aleph is like you see in the Torah, there's Alifai Edom, Ailei Moyav, Mezuktis, and Oz Yusha. Aleph is a chief. Ka'aleph b'Yehida ve'ikron ki Yevisi. And Ikron will be like Yevisi. Yevisi refers to a nickname of Yerushalayim. What does that mean? This is very interesting. Aili Tira, let's look at the Nikidus. Tirai Atiruyois Bekirkesuyos Shabe'edom. So it's mamash allusion of amphitheaters, big theaters, and circuses. Kirkesias is circuses of Edom. Sha'asidin Surah Yehida Lalamed Behen Torah Barabim. Klal Yisrael, when they took over these enemy areas of the Edom, they made it into gross. It reminds me of Asiyah Mashas, and these kinds of things. And in City Field or Madison Square Garden, you take the theaters and the chayzos and the circuses, and you make a groise mamad of Torah for it. But this is mamash the gemur over here, based on the pusik that when the Yidden captured these areas, it's going to become, some of it is neviah for things that didn't happen yet, and Yumas HaMashiach, and some of it is for things that happened, like we said before, by the Chashmanui. But B'kitzur, they took over their places and they turned it into Torah stuff. Over to Yitzchak, Lomagana B'Slavatir, Leishem Zi Pamias. So when it says Leishem in the pusik over there, it's going to be a city of Pamias, which we know later in Tanakh, it's a city that was taken over by Shaiva Dam. Again, these are Goyish territories that had different names when it was under the Goyim. Even whatever, I don't know what's going to happen now in Gaza, but you take back a place and you give it, you give it a new name after Chvaizvus, Yener or Yener. What does it mean Ikrin shall be uprooted? It's the same city, Ikrin. That's why we're mentioning it again. Zi Kaziri Bas Edom. This is again the city of Kazaria, which was a big place in Edom. Shehi Hoisim Metropolitan Shamaluchim. It's the same Lucian as a metropolis. If you ever heard the word in English, metropolis, for a big city, Manhattan or Hong Kong is called a metropolis. So it's the same word. It's interesting. Some words once in a while you can trace for thousands of years. This is the metropolis it's called metropolis of Meluchim. We're going to see later there was a bunch of kings that lived there or grew up there. Oh, right here. Some say that the kings were raised there. That's the city where a lot of kings came from. That's where they appoint a king. That's where they vote for the new king. That's the city. It's like the Washington D.C. Kazeri v'Yishalayim. So this is interesting. What's it say in the pusik? Kazeri versus Yishalayim. This is very interesting. If somebody tells you that, if a person tells you Charvishtayim, that both Yishalayim and Kazari is the capital of Isav, of Edom. So if somebody tells you both of them are strong and built up, they're both a strong city right now, Al Tamad, don't believe him. Yoshvishtayin, Al Tamad. If he says both of them are, if both are destroyed, don't believe him. Charvi, I missed the word Charvi. If somebody tells you both are built, also don't believe him. What's the only possibilities? Charve, Kazari, Yoshvishtayin. If he tells you that Kazari is destroyed and Yishalayim is built, or Charvi, Yishalayim, Chazashulim, Yishalayim is destroyed, V'yoshve Kazari, Tamad, then you could believe him. Shenemar. What's the source that it's either or? Either Klal Yisrael or Isav is up. Shenemar Amala Cherova. So the Pusik says Legaberoim, Roim is Isav. The Pusik says that I shall be filled with her that is laborers. Meaning, if one is full, Imelayazi Charvazi, if Yishalayim is up, then Edom is going to be down. If Edom is up, then Yishalayim has to be down. So this is the Nachman by Yitzchak Omer for the same thing. Mehucha. Mehucha means from here, a different source. What's the source that it's either Isav or Klal Yisrael? Though this is a more famous pusik. The Parashas told us in the beginning. It says over there that when Rivka wasn't sure what's going on with her kids, she went to the yeshivas of Shem Ba'Iver. They told her you're going to have twins. That's the Bakanta joke. I'm not going to say it on camera. But the question was, she couldn't figure out if he jumps out for Avodah Zarah and there he wants to go to Besmedrish, until she found that at least it's two separate kids. At least I'm not having one confused kid. I'm not going to get more bariches in that concept. So he told her, you're going to have two kids, and when one is up, the other one is down. So and that's how it's always been, Yaakov and Isav. When one is up like a seesaw, it's always like that. Because we just spoke about Yaakov and Isav, so we have another teaching from Rabbi Yitzchak. That what? So this is a pusik in Yeshaya, but it's really Yitzchak Avini talking, like we'll see in a second. He says, Yichen Rusha. Yichen is a illusion of Chaim. Let favor be shown to the Rusha, Baal Lumet Tzadik. Yet he's never going to learn righteousness, tzidkis. Omer Yitzchak Yitzchak said, Yitzchak from Avrom Yitzchak Yankov. Yichen Isav. At the end of the day, Isav was his pet, we know from the Pus. The Rasha says, the Chazal say that he liked Isav. Isav had gemacht games with him, was a machtman master from salt, and Rivka realized that the real deal is Yankov. So Yitzchak asked the Eibishter, let Isav have a little bit of favor in Chaim. The Eibishter replied, what do you mean is Erusha? How can I give him anything good? Bal Lumet Tzedek. So Yitzchak said to the Eibishter, didn't he learn any tzidkis? Meaning, is there nothing tzidkis about it? The Eibishter replied, in the land of nechoiches, of uprightness, he will deal wrongly. What does that mean? So the Masber over here, Isav's descendants, which is Rome, are going to destroy the Beis Hamikdash. They destroyed, the Roman armies destroyed the second Beis Hamikdash. Yitzchak heard, they're going to destroy the Beis Hamikdash. Im kaini bal yiragayis Hashem. He said that Isav should never see the Groiskeit from the Eibishter, Gayas Hashem. The kid said he was masking that Isav doesn't deserve. Mamash alas gemura, because it's one of my favorites, and then we'll stop. What is the pusik that is written in Tehillim? The Eibishter al titan Hashem, the Eibishter should not give the zoma by the rusha. He should not give the desires of the rusha to the rusha. Al tufik yiroim yiseilu. Do not remove his nose ring. We're going to see what that means. Yiroimi, the Eibishter should be gross forever. Seilu means forever. What does that mean? Yankiv Avini told the Eibishter, Al titan la'Isav erusha tavas levi. Don't give my brother Isav his tavas, what he wants to do in this world. Don't remove his nose ring. So what's a nose ring? So the nose ring, they're masber over here. That's Rasha, Rasha says that when you have a massive bull that you can't control, he's way too strong, they would make a hole in the nose and they would put a ring through and then a rope through that, because then you could schlep him around. Otherwise, timachepes, he's going to do whatever he wants. The nose is like the Gitta Rebbes and Amul Gitzat, they would schlep the ears. I don't know if you had those Rebbes, but definitely the generation of the Holocaust survivors, I know they all did it to my father's dar. There was hearing, again, off camera, talk about it later, hearing loss and everything. So that's how you control a big bull that has a lot of power by putting a nose ring. So Yaakov Avini tells the Eibishter, please don't take away the nose ring from Isav. So why? So this Gemara I'll tell you in a second. So what is it referring to? Says the Gemara, Zi Germam Yishal Edoim. So Germam Shelemulahen Yoitzim Achivas Kalolim Killer. So why is this a fascinating Gemara to me? Because if Germam Yishal Edoim, a power from Edom would go out, they'll destroy the whole world. So they bring it over here, but for me it's one of my famous Rabbi Yaakov Emdens. Rabbi Yaakov Emden, hundreds of years ago, writes that Germam Yishal Edom, he writes it on this Gemara, means Germany. Germania Metagimel is Germany. So according to many, the Germans, Nazis are from Edom, Amulite, whatever it is. So this delusion over here is that, we'll stop over here, God. But the delusion over here is that basically that it says mamish that Germami Shel Edom, if the Eibishter takes out the nose ring for 1 minute, they're going to go out and blast everything, which is what they did according to Yaakov Emden. And again, he wrote it, if you think about it, the Nazis, 80 years ago, he wrote it 300-400 years ago, hundreds of years ago, much before this. So it's just an interessante Sache. Okay, Yasher Koyach. There's in the pause.